This is a group show that I was in recently, curated by Laura Hurtado at the Utah Division of Arts and Museums. I'd like to show you my new work. This piece is Hanging Family History, matriarchal line, so it's my mother's ancestry. Each of her ancestors' vital information is written on a triangle made of copper wire and rice paper, and they are wired into each other to create a three-dimensional family tree. Matriarchal line traces 10 generations going back into time with laser-cut steel, combining landscape, anecdotal stories, and portraits. It starts in the upper left with Herefordshire, England, where the women there would often spin wool to make yarn. And the first grandmother to be born in the United States was actually orphaned. She ended up working on the railroad, feeding the railroad workers. My grandmother was born in Rexburg, Idaho, and she had some stories about her dog that she would dress up and play with, and her favorite tree that she liked to spend time in, looking at the stars, when her family moved to Portland, Oregon. This is the landscape concerning my life, coming down to the bottom of the piece where there's a watercolor of me looking back into time and forward into time. On the ground is a watercolor of eggs I have harvested, looking to the future of my matriarchal line. This piece is called Wait. At the top is the clock, my bird clock that my mother used, her monthly calendar, and on the bottom, the scale that she weighed herself on every day. At the top, it has the numbers of the scale instead of the hours of the clock. And the calendar has the numbers of the hours from 1 to 12 a.m. and 1 to 12 p.m. instead of the days. And the scale has the names of the people that she was keeping track of instead of the weight of the scale. The scale has the names of my brothers and sisters, my father, and her mother on it. The piece as a whole contrasts the tools she used and the means she used to keep track of the most important things in her life every day. Handkerchief Totem is made of my grandmother's handkerchief collection. The handkerchief at the top is the oldest and most tattered. I believe that was her mother's. The others have amazing handiwork on them from the 1880s, 90s into the early 1900s to the 1960s, where they're machine made, and ending with the paper handkerchief we use today. Matriarchal line is an oil on board painting. It shows what I know of my matriarchal line pictorially 5 generations back, and then there is no visual information, so I just have the vital information written beyond the pictorial information for 5 generations. Matriarchal line was completed in 1999. The rest of the images and artworks in this show were done in 2014. Thank you for coming with me on this tour.